Welcome to the Raven Knoll Show. I'm your host, Raven C. Knoll, known as the Soul Physician. I'm a wife, mother, counselor, Mindset Plus life coach, and speaker. And this is episode number 7. Hey. Thank you so much for tuning in. Hello to all my repeat listeners and welcome to anyone that's tuning in for the first time. Thank you so much for being a part of the RCM Pod Squad. I'm glad to have you, as I always tell you all. Thank you so much for just deciding to stop by my little side of the podcasting world. It's great to have you for sure. Today's episode is bittersweet for me. It's just a bittersweet moment because it's episode number 7, which means it is the conclusion of season 1 of the Raven Knoll Show. I cannot believe it. I have recorded 7 episodes so far and I've completed season 1. This was my goal, to ensure that I kind of gave you a rundown of who I was and who I am and my story and all that good stuff. And then bring you into my world of who I work with and the different women that I've seen in my clientele. And now I get to leave you with this episode. So I'm excited. I mean, I've fallen in love with podcasting. Like, this is my thing. I am not going anywhere. Okay. And I'm just excited about season 2. So season 1 has been outstandingly great. And I am so excited about season 2. I got some great things in the work. But before we conclude season 1, I want to leave you with a few quick tips to help you put your wellness first as a high achieving woman. In season 1, like I said, we've talked about a lot of stuff. I've given you a complete backdrop of my journey leading up to who I am today and how I arrived at this point in my life. And then I also gave you details about the different women that I've worked with, the different types of high achieving women that I've worked with. And you may have found yourself in those profiles that I kind of outlined and kind of detailed out to you, like I said before. And we've talked about the lonely go-getter. We talked about the hurting high achiever. And y'all really loved the burnt out workaholic. That one was one that was super popular. Are you burnt out? Do you feel like you're struggling with that? Because that was definitely one. And so based on the feedback that I've received from you, all the great DMs that I've received from you, now what you want are tips to help you become a healthier high achiever. So I was a little cutty, kind of chopped you up a little bit, stretched you, challenged you, made you think, made you question, some of your actions and just your lifestyle. And so I want to leave you with some tips to really help you continue to pursue a healthier lifestyle in general. And so this episode is that. That's exactly what I'm going to do today. And I'm going to leave you with 5 tips, okay, for putting your wellness first as a high achieving woman. But before I get to those tips, let me give you a general, basic definition as to what wellness is. Very general, very simple, very easy to follow, and specifically in the context as to what I do professionally, okay? And so here's a general definition. Wellness is a combination of many factors, including mental, emotional, and social influences that help you flourish and grow. Very simple, very basic, right? Something you can really remember for yourself when you think about wellness. And so wellness can be actively pursued as a goal that you aspire to, but it's also something that you work towards and you make progress in. So to give you an example, when people talk about health and nutrition, right, they also talk about wellness. And so if you are a person that's trying to get your eating habits together, if you're trying to become healthier physically, if you are, working on your nutrition and you want to exercise more, and you just want to get, healthy in your body physically, you just really want to do better. When you think about wellness, it's not something that you arrive at, right? You're not going to wake up one day and say, ooh, boom, I just eat better. I exercise all the time. I'm just doing the things right off the bat. Tomorrow, I just made it happen, right? But it's more so a journey, right? You have to learn how to eat better. And then once you learn what nutrition is, you have to start cooking differently. And you have to figure out, what works for your body and what doesn't work for your body. You have to supplement foods for different things. And now you have to change your taste buds because, maybe dairy isn't good for you anymore. And so if you're going vegan or if you're going vegetarian or whatever, whatever that looks like for you, or even keto, you have to change, your taste buds, what you like and what you don't like anymore. And you have to find supplements for things that you once enjoyed. And then if you're going on this physical health journey where you're exercising more, you have to start off small with the 5-pound weights. And then you get to the 10-pound weights. And then you go to the 25-pound weights. And then now, you're like bench pressing 200 pounds or something crazy, right? you don't just arrive and say, I got there, I'm well now. Boom. No, you want to keep exercising. You want to keep eating healthy. You want to keep going on this journey of wellness. And so wellness is a journey that you continue doing. You continue to progress in, you continue to move forward in. You may become better than you once were, but there's not an arrival point. You want to continue this journey because as you get older, as you mature, there's different things that you're going to have to change about your eating habits and things you have to change about your body. So that's just to give you an example about wellness. And so think about that also when it comes to your mental health, when it comes to your emotional health, when it comes to your soul health, when it comes to personal development, when it comes to all these different areas and where you want to be well in. My hope was that as you listen to this first season of this podcast, that you really felt encouraged to put your wellness first. I hope I challenged your thought process and you really realize that it's important that you work on you and some of the areas that, you may not be as healthy as you would desire to or need to be. And so, I really want you to take a deep dive into problem areas within yourself, within your mental health, within your emotional health, within your soul health, within, your career goals and aspirations, all those different things. I want you to take a deep dive into those problem areas and determine where can I get better? How can I grow? How can I evolve in areas that I may not be doing as well as I need to be doing in order to put my wellness first? Okay. That was truly my hope for season 1. And I hope that did that for you. So let's go ahead and get into these tips. Okay. I don't want to hold you too much longer. So I'm going to come out the gate swinging. Just going to be real honest with you with this first tip. You're probably going to be like, ouch, but it's a real one. And no way am I trying to hit you under the belt or make you feel bad with any of these tips. But what I am trying to do is to really challenge you because it's my nature so that you grow. Okay. So tip number 1. Practice humility. Okay. Tip number 1, practice humility. The most common high achieving women that I talked about in those last 3 episodes that I did all have one thing in common. They lack transparency and vulnerability. Okay. This is a common trend amongst all those women. They lack transparency and vulnerability. Now, pride, which can be seen as, the opposite of humility, will keep you locked in a very dark place in life. And it will keep you locked in a very unwell place, okay, if you allow it to. A lot of high achieving women are esteemed for being confident. They're esteemed for being secure, for being strong, for having it all together. Couple that with a common struggle with perfectionism, which across the board, a lot of high achieving women struggle there. You have a person who doesn't want to show their weaknesses. Typically, people that struggle with pride do not want to show their weaknesses. And if you are a person that doesn't want to show their weaknesses, a lot of times there's a humility issue there. So transparency and vulnerability over time, being this esteemed person, kind of being puffed up a little bit, getting a lot of validation from your work, receiving a lot of affirmation from people about how strong you are, how confident you are, how smart you are, how intelligent you are. Over time, transparency and vulnerability can translate to weakness for high achieving women because now I have to be this perfect person. I have to be seen as this perfect person. I have to live up to the expectations of others and even the expectations I've put on myself as to what an influential or a successful woman is. And so now it's hard for me to be transparent and vulnerable. And so I look at that as a weakness, but I really should be looking at that as a strength. So humility is a strength. It's not a weakness. And so my tip for you to put your wellness first is to practice humility. Be okay with being transparent and vulnerable pertaining to areas that you need to work on. Be okay with opening up and being honest and true about areas that you may be struggling in personally. That's tip number 1. Tip number 2, strengthen your social connections. All right. Now, I know that high achieving women sometimes struggle with relationships. Okay. And so my encouragement to you is that you want to spend more time connecting with people that pour into you and fill your love tank. As a high capacity woman, you're probably giving of yourself a lot. Okay. You're giving knowledge, you're giving time, you're giving your expertise, you're giving your leadership, you're giving your advice, you're giving all the time. Because of your giving so much, you want connections that strengthen who you are as a person and give back to you. You don't want to always connect with people that you have to give to, right? It can be very second nature to connect with people that maybe you have to influence, or maybe you have to pour into, or maybe you have to lead. And so maybe those connections are easier to you because you don't have to, again, be transparent and vulnerable in those connections sometimes. But you want to ensure that you are connecting with people that can give to you, that can pour back into you, that can encourage you, that can support you when you are down, that can call and check on you, that can say, hey, how are you doing? And not need to talk about themselves or not need your encouragement because they're able to give you encouragement. And so you want to make sure that you strengthen connections with people that can give back to you because you are always giving. Tip number 3, take breaks. For the love of God, take a break, okay? I am the queen of restcations. If you follow me on social media, you probably know I'm always posting in my stories about a vacation, and I like to call them restcations because it is a set aside time for me to rest while I'm on vacation. I do not work while I'm vacationing. I rest. You hear me? I do not work. I rest. And so if you can't take a vacation where you're going out of the state or you're going out of the country, try a staycation. Find you a nice hotel near you with a nice ambiance. Order you some room service, get you a massage at the hotel and chill, okay? Do whatever is necessary for you to take a break and escape some of the workload that you have and escape the high capacity of what you have to do all the time. And another thing when it comes to breaks as well is you want to ensure that you're actually taking a lunch break, okay? If you're not taking a lunch break, that's a problem. So whether you are working in a corporate space or you are working at home or you're an entrepreneur and you make your own schedule, whatever that looks like, you need to be taking a lunch break to ensure that you are separating time for yourself to reset, to think, to slow down, to take a break from the hustle and bustle of your job or the hustle and bustle of your career, or the hustle and bustle of your business. Take a break. And then also, you want to make sure that you are setting aside a time between when you are working and when you have to show up for home. Okay. So there needs to be a break between work hours and home hours. Okay. Especially if when you clock out of work, whatever that looks like for you, maybe you go downstairs, maybe you got to commute back home, whatever. Because if you work from home, your home could be your work as well. You want to have time to separate work hours from home hours, especially when you have to show up for your spouse or your kids. There needs to be a break between maybe sitting in your car for 30 minutes, maybe closing your computer or your laptop and just staying in your office for an additional 30, 45 minutes before you go downstairs and you greet your family. Whatever that is, whatever that looks like for you or whatever that is for you, you need to ensure that you're doing that because that gives you time to reset. That gives you time to wind down from the workday and then show up in another capacity where you're still serving your household, where you're still kind of working in a sense in your household. And that gives you time to really settle with how are you feeling? What's on your mind? How did your day go? Kind of rest your mind from thinking and giving yourself an opportunity to catch up with the day before you start another part of your day. So you need breaks for yourself. That should be a boundary for you. I take breaks. Okay. How can we set that boundary to ensure that you are taking breaks? All right. Tip number 4, set wellness goals. That is a real thing. When you set your goals for the year or the quarter for your career or your business, you need to make sure you are setting wellness goals for yourself as well. You can put your wellness first by setting your wellness goals before calculating your business numbers or that increase you want in salary. Okay. So before you set your goals for the year, for the month, for the quarter, for whatever, when it comes to your career, your business, you need to ensure to be checking in with yourself about your wellness goals. What are those goals that I need to set for myself to ensure that wellness is being put first in my life? And so if you do that, if you set your wellness goals before you set your business goals or your career goals, then you are ensuring that your business and career goals fit inside of your wellness goals first. So if we set these goals for ourselves before we set any other goals, then that means that everything else has to fit inside of wellness. Okay. So that ensures that you're putting your mental health first. That ensures that you're putting your emotional health first. That ensures that you are putting yourself first and making sure that you show up as the healthiest version of you, ensuring that now other things can be successful. Your business can be successful. Your career can be successful. Personal development can be successful. Your relationships can be successful because you are putting your wellness first and you are ensuring that those things fit inside of the goals that you've already set for yourself in that area. Set those wellness goals. Get you a calendar going, get you a running list of things going, get you a planner going, whatever you need to do to ensure that you are putting your wellness goals in the forefront of your mind and that you are setting those things first. Okay. And then tip number 5, reduce your stressors. Listen, I know you have a lot on your plate, and I am sure whatever you do professionally is pretty demanding and quite possibly high stress. I know it is because you probably have, a lot of things that you have going on, a lot of hats that you wear. And that's why it's so important that however you can, you reduce your stress. Now, not all stress is bad stress, but certain high stressors over time can develop into serious physical, mental, and emotional health issues. So however you can do it, ensure that you are reducing your stressors and learn healthier ways to cope with your day-to-day stress. That's important. So if you can figure out whatever works for you specifically, because it's unique to the person, that you can cope with the stressors of work, the stresses of your home life, the stress of, being a parent, the stress of whatever, ensure that you can do so. Okay. Because it's important, because then again, over time, those things can develop into serious issues. And so you want to catch them before they develop into something that can be bigger and require additional treatment that you just don't want to have to experience if you don't have to. Okay. So those were my 5 tips for you. I told you they were quick, they were easy, they were simple, but they are necessary. So those are the 5 tips to help you put your wellness first as a high achieving woman. I hope those were helpful. And I really do hope that you utilize them to become a healthier you. So listen, I can't believe, oh my God, that season 1 is over. 7 episodes down. But I am just as excited for season 2 because I am just getting started. I am just getting started. So I hope that you enjoyed season 1 so far. Thank you so much for being a part of the RCN Pod Squad. Shoot me a DM. Let me know which episode you love the most and what points in whatever episode you've listened to, or if you listen to all of them, send me some points that you felt like really encouraged you to become better as a person and put your wellness first. So it's been great chatting with you. I cannot wait to season 2. Be on the lookout because I'm coming back very, very soon. This has been the Raven Knoll Show. Thanks for listening. If you haven't yet, please subscribe to this podcast so you're the first to know when new episodes are released. And don't forget to leave a review. If you can't wait until the next show, follow along on Instagram, YouTube, or Twitter at Raven C. Knoll for more tips and to keep the conversation going. Go ahead and DM me on Instagram or take a screenshot of this podcast and share it to your IG stories. I want to know about your takeaways from the show. Don't forget to tag me and use the hashtag RCNPodSquad. Lastly, visit my website at ravencnoll.com and join my email list to get exclusive bonuses only for my email subscribers. Thanks again for rocking and rolling with me. I'll talk to you soon.